The Nightmare of Ashihama is old school RuneScape's newest boss and introduces quite a few mechanics that other bosses have never had before, so as a result I figured I'd make a guide for it. Keep in mind, things could be changed in the future or theories in this video proven wrong, all of which I will add to the pinned comment down below. Let's just cut to the chase. On screen right now is a list of timestamps. Feel free to skip ahead to whatever part of the guide that you want to watch. First, we're going to start with the requirements and recommendations. The only actual requirement is completion of the Priest in Peril quest, but I would recommend also having high melee stats and at minimum 43 prayer. Other than that, have some spare GP in your bank for deaths, as each one will cost you 60k should you want to reclaim your items. For your gear, you're going to want to have the best in slot melee gear you can afford, and a strong crush weapon. If you're looking for something cheaper, here's a decent budget setup. Also, somebody in the We Do Raids Discord did the calculations, and this is the list of what the best weapons to use at this boss from best to worst are. So feel free to pause and read this list if you'd like. You'll notice in my inventory I have a Sanguinesti staff and Blood Barrage runes. Neither of these are required, but I'd say they're highly encouraged. You'll see why when I get to the fight overview section. You can swap the Sanguinesti staff out for a trident, but it's not really going to give you the same effect. If you'd like, you can also bring a small mage gear switch, such as an occult and tormented bracelet, but they're not necessary and the jury is still out on if they are actually that useful. No matter what, as long as you're not using gear that's made specifically so that you can't cast spells, you're going to hate using a trident or a Sanguinesti staff. Also, although they're not pictured here, if you're in a smaller team, you may want to bring darts for the Sleepwalker attack that I'm going to cover later. As for a special attack weapon, I'd recommend either using something like Dragon Claws, or maybe a Saradomin Godsword if you're struggling with supplies while learning. For the purposes of this guide, I'll be bringing Super Combats, a Divine Super Combat, Saradomin Brews, and Super Restores. Once you nail the mechanics, you'll be able to move on to cheaper supplies such as anglerfish or sharks, or maybe even monkfish. Lastly, I highly recommend bringing a Relisim's Balm Potion. It's required to turn an otherwise extremely dangerous attack into one that does almost no damage. This attack will be explained in the special attack section. If you don't have access to this potion, you can also use the Sandfew Serum, but they're fairly expensive and do almost the same thing. So now I should explain how to actually get there. There's a few ways to get there pretty easily. The best one, in my opinion, is using a Draken's Medallion and teleporting to the Theater of Blood. This way you can bank your medallion for extra supplies, and just run north from the theater. I'd recommend pre-potting with the stamina though, as you probably will run out of run on the way there if you don't. Another option is using the Ectophile, paying 10k to the boatman north of the Ectofunctus, and once again running north. Or you can really just run from anywhere in Canifis, but I wouldn't recommend it. Before I give you the full overview of the fight, I want to cover her specific attacks, as some of them can be a little confusing. First off, her auto attacks are fairly simple. When she spins around and throws these little red things, it's a mage attack. When she contorts her body into these weird shapes and makes these strange clicking noises, it's going to be a range attack. Lastly, the melee attack happens randomly if the person she's targeting is standing next to her when she decides which attack she's going to use. This can cause massive damage but can be easily avoided. If the tank is north and she uses this attack, only people standing north will take damage. If you're praying any protection prayer that isn't protect from melee, and you're in range of this, you will take 120% damage, which can one-hit you very easily, whereas if you're praying melee, you'll only take 20%. A simple way to counter all of her autos is to make sure you're not standing on the same side as the tank, and you can't protect from magic until you see her body start moving, like she's going to use a range attack. Quickly switch to range and back to magic when the attack is finished. If done correctly, you will take almost no damage. It's rumored that the player with the biggest defense bonus will automatically be selected as the tank. This can be useful when going with smaller teams, as you'll know which person is going to be the designated tank. Or if you're going with other people and you don't understand why you keep getting targeted and don't want to be, then you can figure it out from there. The hand portal's attack is fairly simple. Black circles will appear on the ground, and if you're standing on them when activated, you'll take a lot of damage. When you see the circles appear, make sure you're not on top of one, and if you are, just step off of it quickly. The flower's attack is when the nightmare divides the room up into 4 corners. One corner will be safe and the other 3 will cause you to take rapid damage. The corner surrounded by these pretty looking flowers is the corner you want to be in to not take damage. If you're not in that corner, you'll probably die pretty fast. The Nightmare will sometimes spawn these NPCs called husks. They pop out of the ground and will freeze you in place until they're killed. So simply kill them and continue fighting the boss. They are fairly simple and easy to counter. The Sleepwalker's attack is pretty unique but easy to counter. Randomly, the Nightmare will spawn a set of Sleepwalkers in each side of the room. The amount of Sleepwalkers will increase with the team size. They will walk from the edges of the room into the Nightmare. If they manage to reach the Nightmare, she will then deal a powerful attack inflicting damage based on how many reached her. If you notice a lot got in, chances are it's going to be a big attack and you should brew up beforehand. Anyway, this is where Blood Barrage comes in handy. In large teams, most of the Sleepwalkers are clumped together and you can barrage them to kill them instantly. No matter what, as long as you hit these things, they'll die instantly. You'll always hit a 10. So in smaller teams where they won't be as clumped up, I'd recommend bringing darts to kill them quickly. The Parasite's attack is a little nasty. Randomly, the Nightmare will throw parasites at players, impregnating them with one. A few auto attacks later and the parasite will burst out of your stomach and begin healing the boss. If you were lucky enough to become a new mom and get a parasite, upon bursting, it will cause massive damage to you. This damage is mostly avoidable though. When you become pregnant, you'll receive a message in chat. Simply take a sip of your Relicin Balm or Sanfew to reduce the damage by quite a bit, almost entirely. One last thing is once the parasite is out of your stomach, kill it as quickly as possible to prevent the boss from regaining too much health. The prayer swapping attack, also known as the curse attack, is probably the most confusing mechanic and easily the most unique one of the fight in my opinion. The Nightmare will fill your screen with a pink glow cursing you, thus moving all your protection prayers over one space. To give you a more visual idea of what this actually means and what it does, I'm going to draw this out for you. So, in your prayer book, you'll see Protect Mage. If you click on it and try to pray Protect from magic, it will actually instead protect from range. So, if you're being attacked by a range attack, you'd want to pray Protect from magic. If you're being attacked by a melee attack, you would pray range. And if you're being attacked by a magic attack, you'd protect from melee. This is very confusing, I know, but once you do it a few times, it gets a lot easier and you'll just memorize it. There's no real easy way of telling when this attack is over besides a message in your chat box and the fact that your prayer book will work the way it would normally. The Spores attack is when the Nightmare will launch these spores all over the room. If you touch one or stand on a tile next to one, it will explode and disable your run for a short time, as well as cause you to attack one tick slower. Our final attack is the Charge attack, which is probably one of the scariest ones. The Nightmare will teleport to a corner of the room and blast through anything in her way at full speed, causing lots of damage. You can avoid this one by moving out of her way or hiding next to something like one of the totems, as she won't be able to get through that. So with all the special and normal attacks out of the way, let's do a general overview of what you have to look forward to. So phase 1 begins with the Nightmare with her shield up. The amount of shield she has varies by team size. She will do various different auto attacks with at least one special attack per phase. You will drain her shield by attacking her, and once her shield falls to 0, you need to attack the 4 various totems in each corner of the room. This charges them up as the bars in the top left display. This is where your Sanguinesti staff comes in handy because you can reach them and still do damage even in full melee gear. So if she launches a special attack during this part of the phase, you can still DPS. After all 4 pillars are damaged enough to be activated, she will take 800 damage and her shields will return. You do this 2 more times and you're finished. As you can see on screen, you do also have to kill a set of Sleepwalkers before P2 starts, and the same thing before P3 starts. Anyway, to tie this whole video together, I'm just going to do a run start to finish. I'll probably cut out a little bit of it because it is a little long, but it should give you an idea of how this boss actually works in real time. Alright, so this is going to be the example kill for the video. I already got one in earlier, but my supplies should be okay for another one. Okay, boss is starting, so we're gonna pray magic and put on piety and dump our specs. Swap to range though, because that's a range attack, and the tank just got meleeed. Okay, looks like she's doing a special. Okay, it's just the husks. Okay, another special, hands. Alright, this is probably the flower special. Yep, okay, so we just walk over there, And then what we're going to do is, because we're sharing the same area with the tank, we're going to flinch the boss, so that way if the tank gets meleeed, we don't get meleeed too, because we can't really attack from any other corner. And as you can see, you can get multiple specials at once. Anyway, now we can continue trying to take down the pillars. And when we do that, phase 2 will be ready. Okay, so we did that. The sleepwalkers are going to spawn, and then we are going to start phase 2. I forgot to put on the right stuff though, so I don't think I'm going to catch... Yeah, okay. I think the rest of our team caught most of them though, so we should be okay. Yeah, only 25, it could have been worse. But yeah, now it's basically the same thing as P1, just with different attacks. Okay, so here's the parasite attack. We actually didn't get infected, so I don't have to use my potion, which is probably a good thing because I only have 1 dose left of that. So we're going to save that for now. Another hand attack, and the parasite spawned. So we need to kill the parasites, or else they will heal the boss, and if the pillars were up, they would start, I guess, repairing the pillars. Okay, so now our prayers are all swapped and weird, like I explained earlier. So we pray magic, it prays range. It's something you'll just learn by doing. Okay, so another one. Okay, oh, okay, so this time we actually got one. So what we're going to do is we're going to drink this last sip of bomb here, and we're only going to get hit a 6, I believe, rather than a 50. Once the parasite pops out. I think that was actually a 5, so yeah, that is a very important potion. Alright, we got our shields down, and now we just have to take out the pillars and do one more set of sleepwalkers, and then we will be in P3. Okay, so that's the spore attack. Just don't touch those if you can help it. I unfortunately got pathed into it, so there's not too much I can do. Okay, now she's gonna dash. So, okay, yeah. I ran basically right into it, but you saw she teleported into a corner and dashed right at all of us. And just like that, her shields are down again, so we just repeat by hitting the totems, and the fight should be over. Alright, all of the totems down, she's taken out, and the fight is over. Hopefully we get something good. Honestly, that's one of the better drops I've seen here all day, to be honest. And I've done a couple kills on my ult here as well, I haven't done just 4. Well, that's really all there is to this boss, so I'm just gonna let you guys go. Good luck. Join my clan chat in Discord, and leave me some suggestions for future videos. Let me know if you like this one. And I will see you in the next video.